to me, okay, to me, ultimately, martial art means honestly expressing yourself. Now, it is very difficult to do, okay? I mean, it is easy for me to put on a show and be cocky and be flooded with a cocky feeling and then feel like pretty cool and all that. Or I can make all kinds of phony things, you see what I mean? Blinded by it. Or I can show you some really fancy movement. But to express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, and to express myself honestly, now that, my friend, is very hard to do. And you have to train. You have to keep your reflexes so that when you want it, it's there. When you want to move, you're moving. And when you move, you are determined to move. Not taking 1 inch, not anything less than that. If I want to punch, I'm going to do it, man, and I'm going to do it, you see. So, I mean, so that is the type of thing you have to train yourself into it, to become one with the punch. Now, I'm leaning forward a little bit, hoping not to hurt any camera angle. I mean, you got to put the whole hip into it and snap it and get all your energy in there and make this into a weapon.
This clip from Bruce Lee is very revealing because what he is talking about is what lays the foundation to true self-actualization and the individuation process. Bioenergetics. He's talking about true self-expression and how to attain true self-expression. Many people would look over what he is saying in this interview, that he's just talking about, self-expression and being yourself and all of this type of stuff in a very generalized way. But within the context of martial arts, it is a very different endeavor because martial arts is probably the most psychologically transformative art that you could commit to. To become individuated is to become your most honest, authentic self without pause, doubt, or second thought. Something, as Bruce Lee says in his interview, honestly expressing themselves, becoming a person who honestly expresses themselves, that there's no doubt involved within the expression of that individual. This is very difficult to become as an individual because we have to overcome all that casts doubt upon our individuality itself. Ultimately we have to overcome all forms of fear on every level in our life, emotionally, physically, socially, and environmentally, to the point where we become anti-fragile, as you could say, impenetrable to cowardice itself. That process itself takes, a lifetime's endeavor, ultimately. We always have to be improving ourselves, something we should always be working towards and which should be the ultimate purpose of all of our lives. But martial arts itself, and why I find this really interesting when Bruce Lee says this, itself, it embodies that hero's journey best because martial arts is a bioenergetic activity. It integrates within its art form everything needed to become who you truly desire to be, because it exposes you to what is called psychosomatic exposure, experience, psychosomatic experience, psyche and soma, mind and body. And this is the challenges of growth and healing towards the unification of the mind and body. And that's what martial arts exposes to the individual and why it is so transformative on a psychological and physical level for the individual themselves. So the reason for psychological complexes, neuroses, or the power of trauma holding us back on an individual level is because we are stuck in either our mind or our body. Too much. We remain psychologically split individuals, split human beings, and this is why we are stuck in trauma, stuck in fear of some sort from our past experiences. This causes our mental health problems to stay with us, so we are not able to further our individuation process itself, because we are not doing anything bioenergetically to reconnect what has been torn within us mentally and physically. Martial arts allows that, for there to be a bioenergetic union, a unity itself, so that we can heal from all forms of neurosis and complexes and trauma, because you're reinventing yourself through confronting the unknown. That's why Bruce Lee in this clip is talking about cockiness or being phony, to show things off in a certain way, because that itself is a coping mechanism that most of us, if not a lot, do. Most people have some sort of persona until someone develops true confidence of something, and many people are always carrying around a persona. And that is a form of what Wilhelm Reich would call body armoring from honest self-expression itself, or for our desire to be accepted from a place of fear. That is why people have personas. Fear of judgment, insecurity, vulnerability. We all struggle with these things, but what is so pertinent in this clip is that Bruce Lee is laying out the basis to individuation and how to achieve it through his own experience and mastery of martial arts itself. And that it can also be achieved through other art forms of self-expression. But the big takeaway from this is that it has to be something that unifies the mind and the body, challenges the mind and the body towards the unknown. Something that is bioenergetic and requires you to learn and grow in the face of personal fear to become truly whole, honest, and honorable in the process of mastery. And this is why I am hosting a webinar called Unlocking the Mechanics of Individuation, where in this webinar, this live webinar on the 2nd of November, I will be basically demystifying the individuation process and going into the practical fundamentals of what is actually required for an individual to go upon the individuation path itself. So if you are interested in checking that out, you can book tickets in the link in the description. It'd be very much worth your while. I won't be talking about any mystical, spiritual jargon or BS. It's going to be very practical, pragmatic methods, techniques, and perspectives that I'm going to be talking about in this webinar. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to share it around, check out that link in the description, and I'll speak to you in the next video.